Olá, amigos da TV Mundo Maior. Você acompanha o programa Ciência, Espiritualidade e hoje nós vamos a mais uma série de entrevistas com o professor Amit Goswami. Amit Goswami já é bem conhecido pelas suas pesquisas, e pela sua inserção da questão da espiritualidade na ciência. Ele participou do filme Quem Somos Nós, é autor de vários livros e também professor emérito na cadeira de Física Quântica da Universidade do Oregon, nos Estados Unidos. No nosso programa de hoje, nós vamos acompanhar uma entrevista realizada com o professor Goswami sobre as noites obscuras da autotransformação. Vamos acompanhar.
So, it's very inspiring to be with you and hearing from you. And for those people watching us, sometimes people see a person like you saying you are ready. You never have your own struggles and conflicts, and reading a little bit about your biography, having a background in Hinduism and at the same time going to the scientific, at least in the beginning, how you yourself dealt with your dark night of self-transformation and integrating everything?
Well, actually it's not as difficult or as tremendous as it sounds sometimes. I hate to make it too dramatic. It's not like that. Of course, we have what can be called a dark night of the soul, but it's too dramatic for my taste. It does not have to be made that way. In the olden days, I think what happened was that people, the creative experience came as such a surprise. And indeed, before then, you do get into kind of doldrum, nothing is happening, and frustration. So the change was such a huge contrast that we have these pictures of dark night of the soul and all that angst and anxiety and all that. When we do engage with the creative process with understanding, all the creative process does, I'll tell you, it's so simple to understand. Ordinarily, when we are trying to solve a problem, we have an idea and we try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, we go to another idea and we try it. But how many ideas can you try? Try something like understanding love. You're having a little difficulty with your intimate relationship. And you really want to love this person because you do love this person at some level and you know it. But there are always problems. Something or other triggers your negative emotional brain circuit and you start fighting. And the cloud is so enticing that until that cloud disperses a little, you don't even see your way through. And this happens again and again. And you want to know, how can I do it better? Now try to apply that so-called scientific method. We try this idea. So you say, well, today when we fight, I'll just smile at her and I'll just not get upset. You try that and, well, you tried, but she started saying things that would upset you anyway. And it goes on, and how many things can you try? I bet you will try 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 things maybe through the year. Nothing works. What the quantum does, it allows you to try many possibilities all at the same time. This is so beautiful, and we do it unconsciously. We don't do it consciously. In our unconscious, we have the capacity of quantum processing. Many possibilities at once. Quantum objects has this capacity. They can be many, many things all at once. Not in actuality, but in possibility. So we let the processing done in possibility, quantum processing. Creativity researchers have discovered that this is the basis of all creative experience. Quantum processing, preparation, and then quantum processing, just being, not doing anything consciously. Consciously just relaxing, just being. But unconscious start this processing, quantum processing, all possibilities at once. So we have to do and be and do and be. I call it the do process. So once you understand this, you see, then it's not necessary anymore to have this dark night of the soul, such tremendous angst. It's still a little bit of angst will be there. I mean, there is some anxiety, of course. But it would be quite okay also, because it's not really a whole bunch of doing and then we suffer through and not doing anything and suffering this angst, dark night. Not necessary. If we do just develop a do life, this creativity becomes part of life itself. And then these insights come. They are no longer the result of dark night of the soul. They just flow. There are people like that. There was a poet in my home country, Rabindranath Tagore, whose life became so, he was both an inner creative and an outer creative. The combination was so wonderful that creativity just flew from him. It was just he was in that flow constantly. Da Vinci was a man like that. He doesn't talk about dark night of the soul. I'm not negating dark night of the soul, by the way. And that was the way that people in the ancient times found things, because they were doing it blindly. But now that we understand the process, we can emulate the people who already have done it this way. And then it really, you can live in that creative flow. You never have to go out of it so much that produces that prolonged angst. There will still be a dark night, but it no longer will be a night, maybe a dark hour.
Dark minute.
Dark minute.
And for assessing this fundamental creativity, what is the importance or the role of having a higher meaning or higher purpose for everything that you do?
Yes, that comes from within us, because we recognize that so long as we have this negative emotion, we begin to recognize what is the plight of other people. We begin to recognize by seeing our own reflection in the life of everyone. The whole humanity is suffering from this. So then we look for the remedy, and we find that, well, isn't the best way to live to balance these negative emotions? So we become interested in positive. And so we start looking for positive emotions. The chakras in our body tell us what the positive feelings are, because the negative feelings are all connected with the basic metabolism and reproduction stuff. After that comes, starting with the heart chakra, that's the place of love, and then expression, then clarity, and then finally satisfaction. So we look for these things. What satisfies us the most? That becomes the question. What is the secret of satisfaction? Sometimes we are satisfied, sometimes we have done so much, made so much money, it still doesn't satisfy. More money. So obviously money is not the objective of satisfaction. Then we begin to look at finer aspects, and we find that satisfaction comes this way. When I have taken care of one, where I went yesterday to see this wonderful hospital in Sao Paulo. No, not strictly in Sao Paulo, it's a neighboring city of Sao Paulo. But very beautiful place, all kinds of mentally incapacitated and also physically handicapped people. And these nurses and doctors are taking care of them. So much love. There are problems, of course, but these people are trying to contain this particular, just giving service to this, totally helpless 600 or so patients. So where do they find the energy of doing this? Where do they find the motivation of doing this? Because they want to energize their own love, own heart chakra. This is where that motivation comes from. So in this way, there's so much misery around the world that we have the laboratory to learn about finer emotions, how to activate them. And these things give us satisfaction. So you see how we go? So those of us who are capable, others are not capable yet, but they are also part of us.
Sure.
They are not separate from us. Once we get that idea that these people are not separate from us, then we try to do whatever in our specific sphere. We don't go out of our sphere. I'm a quantum physicist. I'm not going to go what the doctors can do. I can admire them from a distance, but I know that capacity I don't have. I don't have the healer capacity of a healer. You are a communicator. So you don't sit in my chair. I sit in my chair, I do my thing, and you are doing this wonderful interview. You elicit this whatever that is happening from me. Listeners are enjoying that. So we remain rooted in our basic capacity. In that capacity, we start earning satisfaction. We don't go for money, we don't go for fame, but what satisfies us deeply. And that is what creates this positive emotional brain circuits.
Vamos fazer um breve intervalo e voltamos já já.